Ever feel like you're capable of so much more, but just can't quite, I don't know, crack the code to unlock it?
Yeah.
You're not alone. And you sent us these excerpts from Adrienne Herbert's Power Hour because you're ready to make a change.
Right.
And this book might just hold the key.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is how Herbert breaks down this seemingly monumental task of like transforming your life into a manageable, even enjoyable hour-by-hour approach.
That's right. She focuses on how you can leverage the first hour of your day,
Right.
that power hour,
Yeah.
to set yourself up for success,
Totally.
both personally and professionally.
Yeah.
We're talking about simple yet powerful habits that can completely shift your mindset.
Absolutely.
Speaking of mindset,
Yeah.
that's the first thing Herbert dives into.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it really resonated with me.
Yeah, it's foundational to her whole approach.
Yeah.
She's a huge proponent of developing a growth mindset, which can be a real game changer in how we approach challenges and setbacks.
You know, I've definitely had moments where I felt not smart enough or like I didn't have what it takes.
Sure.
Herbert's take on this is really interesting.
Yeah.
She argues that it might not be about intelligence,
Right.
but rather understanding how you learn best.
Yes.
It's like that light bulb moment when you realize,
Uh-huh.
oh, I'm a visual learner. Of course this textbook isn't clicking.
Exactly. And Herbert dives into those different learning styles in the book,
Okay.
emphasizing that once you identify yours, you can leverage it to your advantage.
Right.
It's about understanding your strengths and working with them, not against them.
She even shares her own story of being told she wasn't good enough for performing arts school.
Right.
Can you imagine hearing that
Oh, wow.
and still pursuing your dreams?
And not just pursuing them, but thriving.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, she ended up performing on the West End. It's a testament to the power of a growth mindset,
Right.
of using setbacks as fuel to propel you forward.
I love that.
Yeah.
So how do we actually cultivate this growth mindset?
Yeah, good question.
Herbert provides a simple yet powerful mantra.
Okay.
Replace "I can't" with "I can do hard things."
It's about reframing those negative thoughts
Right.
and replacing them with empowering beliefs. Instead of focusing on limitations, you're acknowledging the challenge while also affirming your ability to overcome it.
And you know, it makes me think about how we often limit ourselves before even giving ourselves a chance to try.
Oh, for sure.
What's one area, dear listener, where you've held yourself back?
Yeah.
How could embracing a growth mindset shift that perspective?
It's a powerful question.
Yeah.
And it perfectly sets the stage for the next element of Herbert's Power Hour philosophy.
Okay, now I'll admit, when I first heard movement in the context of like personal growth,
Right.
I pictured, you know, intense workout montages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not exactly my cup of tea.
Right.
But Herbert isn't talking about becoming a marathon runner overnight.
Right. It's about recognizing that movement in any form sends powerful signals to your brain.
It's like hitting the reset button, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know when I'm feeling stuck, even a quick walk can clear my head.
Exactly. Herbert emphasizes how even small bursts of movement can shift your state,
Okay.
impacting everything from your mood and focus to your self-belief.
So if we're feeling that afternoon slump at work,
Yeah.
instead of reaching for another coffee,
Yeah.
maybe we should be reaching for our sneakers.
Precisely. And you know, Herbert uses a fascinating analogy
Okay.
to illustrate how our energy impacts those around us.
Okay.
She talks about the sympathetic resonance of pianos.
Pianos.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Imagine striking a key on one piano,
Uh-huh.
and the corresponding string on other nearby pianos will start to vibrate as well,
Right.
even though you haven't touched them.
I have heard of that. It's amazing.
Yeah. But how does this relate to, well, us?
It's a reminder that our energy ripples outward, just like those sound waves.
Yeah.
When we move our bodies, we're not just impacting ourselves,
Right.
but also the people around us.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
Right.
It makes you think twice about showing up to a meeting after a stressful morning, doesn't it?
It does. And speaking of pushing through challenges,
Yeah.
Herbert shares her personal experience of training for a marathon while pregnant.
Okay, that's some next level commitment right there.
It is, but her point is that it's not about perfection.
Right.
It's about showing up for yourself,
Yeah.
even when it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
She talks about casting yes votes for yourself
Oh, yeah.
each time you choose to move your body,
Mm-hmm.
even in small ways.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about building that self-trust.
Right.
Proving to yourself that you can follow through on your commitments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those small yeses start to create a ripple effect.
Right.
Just like those piano strings.
Yeah.
Building momentum towards bigger goals.
Okay.
And, speaking of those bigger goals,
Yeah.
often achieving them requires us to be firing on all cylinders.
Right.
Which leads us to the third element of Herbert's power hour.
Okay.
Sleep.
Sleep. Okay, this is where I have to confess.
Uh-huh.
I'm definitely guilty of burning the midnight oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us are.
It's true. But Herbert makes a compelling case for prioritizing sleep.
Right?
And she starts with a rather shocking comparison.
Okay.
She says the hormonal response to losing your phone
Yeah.
is initially the same as losing your child.
Wow. That puts it in perspective.
It does. Makes you really think. Huh.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're sacrificing peak performance
Right.
for a few extra scrolls through social media.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
And it's not just about feeling less sharp mentally.
Right.
Herbert connects quality sleep to tangible results.
Okay.
She shares the story of Olympic long jumper Jasmine Sawyers, whose personal best came after her best week of sleep.
Wow. So
That's Olympic-level performance, directly linked to prioritizing sleep.
I'm starting to think I've underestimated the power of a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
But what about those of us who genuinely struggle to get enough sleep,
Right.
even when we're not glued to our phones?
Well, Herbert actually addresses this.
Okay.
She spoke with Dr. Sophie Bostock, a sleep scientist, who says most people can change their sleep patterns with consistent effort.
There's hope for us night owls yet. So what's a good first step?
Yeah.
I'm ready to trade in those late-night scrolling sessions for peak performance.
Right. Well, Herbert suggests a 1-week sleep challenge.
Okay.
Go to bed 1 hour earlier for 7 days.
Okay.
It sounds simple, but the cumulative effect can be profound.
I love that. A small shift with the potential for big impact. And as we're talking about these small shifts, these yes votes we cast for ourselves,
Right.
it strikes me that consistency is key
Absolutely.
across all three elements of Herbert's Power Hour
Right.
mindset movement.
Yeah.
And sleep.
It's all connected.
Yeah. It's about building those positive habits.
Right.
1 hour at a time.
One step at a time.
Remember Herbert's point about those 1% improvements?
Yeah, those small changes add up.
Over time, they create a compound effect,
Exactly.
adding to significant personal and professional growth.
It's not about overnight transformations.
Right.
It's about those consistent efforts over time.
So it's not about overhauling your entire life overnight,
Right.
but rather committing to small,
Yeah.
sustainable changes.
I love that word. Sustainable.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be doable, right?
It does.
It's about finding what works for you and sticking with it.
And those small changes, when combined, unlock that extraordinary potential within you.
Absolutely. If you could design your ideal power hour, what would it look like?
That's a great question for our listeners to think about.
And what one small change from this deep dive will you commit to trying? Because ultimately, the power to transform your life lies within those everyday choices, starting with how you choose to spend that first